Hello and welcome to NEOS Academy, NEOS 101. My name is Raina and I'm going to be your host for this session. Along with me, I have Lauren Root. She is our knowledge-based content manager. She will be my co-host for this session. And answering your questions, we have Miss Pamela Hodge. She is a business consultant for our implementation team. Thank you both very much for being here with me today. And let's go ahead and we have a huge agenda to cover, so let's go ahead and get started. Right here on our agenda, we're going to start off with logging in and two-factor authentication. We're going to be going over how to search for a case, provider, and documents. We are also going to show you guys how to create an intake and how to transition that intake into a case. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and take you guys on a case tour, showing you guys the folder tabs and their functionalities, how to manage a checklist, generating a document from an existing template, sending messages, emails, and texting. And then throughout the session, Lauren and I are definitely going to be giving you guys some troubleshooting tips just to help make you guys to make your experience easier in NEOS. Sorry about that. And then at the end, we are going to wrap it all up with showing you guys how to navigate the knowledge base and the self-service portal. So let me go ahead and switch over my screen share. Just bear with me one moment, please. And here we go.
Okay, great. So what you're seeing here is the NEOS login screen. There are three fields that you're going to be presented with. The first one is your username field or email. So you can type in your staff code as it is presented in your staff profile or your email if it exists in your staff profile. The next field is your company ID, and this is going to be provided to you by your NEOS firm administrator. So you would enter that in to log in. And the last field is your password. And again, this is your password that was either set up for you. So if this is your very first time logging in, you'll probably be prompted to create a new password. And so if everything looks great, you'll click login. But let's say, for example, you just can't remember your password. And, we have this handy link down at the bottom. This is forgot password. So if Raina, if you click that forgot password, you'll be prompted to enter in your email that exists in your staff profile and your company ID. Now, she's not going to continue because once she goes ahead and continues, her existing password will no longer be usable. So make sure that if you truly don't remember your password, that you follow through with the whole process so you can get a temporary password. Now, you will get an email with a temporary password if your email address right there and your company ID match. So not consecutively together, but if we can associate you with your company ID and if your email is also listed in your staff profile. So what you'll do is when the email comes through, you'll just copy and paste that temporary password. Then you'll click return to sign in. You'll enter in that copied password from the email. You'll paste it in there, and then you'll be prompted to enter in a new password at that point. Okay, the next option, excuse me, for logging in is sign in with Microsoft. So what this does is it alleviates you from having to enter in your staff code or your email, your company ID, and your password. By clicking this, it will allow you to log in at the same time. Basically, if you're already logged into Microsoft, be it maybe with your Outlook online or maybe with SharePoint, you will automatically be authenticated if you're currently logged in. But if you're not currently logged in, that is totally fine. You'll be prompted with a window off to the right to enter in your Microsoft login and password. So that is just another option. And what you're seeing here, company ID, this is only if your firm is associated with another company ID. And since we are using an environment within our internal environment, we have other environments there. So you probably won't see this on your side, but this is just another way that you can log in without having to go through the whole process of remembering your staff code, your company ID, and your password. So Raina, did you have anything else to add about logging in?
Of course, yeah. Thank you very much, Lauren. So the single sign-on with Microsoft, it is something that you can set up per staff user, but it's also something that you can set up firm wide. So if you need any more information, we'll have Pam go ahead and share the KB article number in the chat with you guys so you can look that up later on. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to actually log in. And I wanted to share with you guys also this option for two-factor authentication. So right here, this is something that you can also set up either per staff, like per staff profile or for the entire firm. I have both my mobile number and my email in here. What this will do is it will send you a code to whichever one you have selected. I'm going to go ahead and select my phone number so it can text me. And what this will do is it just adds a little bit extra security for your login. So let me go ahead and type in my two-factor code. You do have the option to select do not ask again for 30 days. And you can also request another code down here. But once you have it right, go ahead and log in and we are in Neos now. Lauren, was there anything else before I
Yes.
continue?
Before you continue, I did want to make everyone aware of some troubleshooting methods that they can use while they're in Neos. And so, for example, if you are making changes to a tab and you're not seeing those changes reflected properly in Neos, or for example, if you're looking in a dropdown and you know someone in your firm just recently added an option to like from a mini directory into that dropdown, it should be there, but it is not. I'm going to share with you some tactics that you can use to try to troubleshoot on your own. So the first thing that you'll want to do is just refresh the browser. To refresh, you just click the circle icon with the arrow, and that will just refresh your browser right there. Now, if the problem still persists, you can try to close and reopen the tab. So for example, if you're in a case folder, you can just close the case just like that and then reopen it just to see if you can, if the issue goes away. The other option to try is to try browsing in an incognito or private browser. Now, again, this would only be for troubleshooting methods. So we would want you to see if the issue is browser related. And if it's not, this other this other troubleshooting method would be really helpful. So what Neos does is it stores the images and the code in the cache so that the next time you open Neos, it opens even quicker. But it's a really great thing to clear the site data from time to time because Neos is getting updated so frequently. We want to make sure that all the information is shown, as fast as you can access it and properly. So in order to clear the site data, and it might say delete site data depending on the browser you use. So we are in Chrome right now, but we also support Mozilla Firefox and Microsoft Edge. So we are in Chrome, but I'm going to show you how to clear or delete, depending on what the verbiage is, the site data in Chrome. So if you click the icon to the left of the app.neos-cloud URL, and then if you scroll down to site settings and select that first option over there where it says usage, you'll just want to click the delete data button right there. And when you click this and then confirm that you do want to delete, then you can close this tab or keep it open, it's up to you. And then when you go back to Neos, you'll want to make sure that you refresh right now, because if you do try to make any other changes and save, it will just kick you out. And this way it will alleviate you from having to redo that change you just tried to make. So we're going to have Raina sign back in again. And now, of course, if you tried all those methods and it's still not working, definitely reach out to support and we'd be happy to help you. Back to you, Raina.
Thank you so much, Lauren. All right, guys. So what I'm going to show you next is the search function. Up in the top left corner of Neos, of your browser, you will see the search box here. If you click on the search box, it's going to show you your 5 most recently opened items. That could be cases, it could be names cards. This one looks like it's a company card, and I can tell just by the icon here. So these are just the last 5 items I've opened up here. If you don't want to see those anymore, you can go ahead and click on the clear button right there. But this does show you like the case number, the party on the case, what type of case it is, the case type right here, how many parties are assigned to that case, and the case's status. Down here, you can see a person's name. And over on the right, you can see how many cases they are assigned, like they are, that they are part of, and how many intakes they're a part of as well. You do have the option for advanced search. That is not going to be covered in this session. However, we do have plenty of information. And if you need anything, you can definitely feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to training, support, and we would be happy to help you guys out. All right, but up here, back up to the search, there is a search field right here. There's the magnifying glass to go ahead and search for whatever you're looking for. But over to the left, this drop down is going to be the criteria that you are searching for. Right now it's selecting all, but you can search for names, you can search for social security numbers, case numbers, anything in this list, you can go ahead and search for it. A couple of quick little tips I want to give you guys is if it's searching for a number, right? If I try to type in A, B, C, D, E, F, nope, nothing's typing in there. That's because this field can only search for actual numbers. So if I know the case number that I'm looking for, I can go ahead and search for it. And we can see this intake right here just came up. If you want to search for somebody's name. So what you would want to do is you can search for a name in the all criteria. However, I would recommend clicking on the name / AKA if you're searching for a particular person, because when we go to search right now, I'm going to just type in a few letters of the last name, comma, and then a few letters of the first name. This will only work in under the name / AKA drop down selection. If you try to do this under all, it's not going to pop up. But any other any time that you're searching for a name, it will just, if you want to search even just for initials, you can do that as well, and it will pull up anything that matches. So right here we have our search results. You can see there's a few different H comma P's. And I'm going to just go ahead and look at Miss Hodge. So right here we do have, oh, let me go back for a second. We do have, her name, her address, and all of her contact information, etc. Right here, you can see the cases. So she's assigned to 5 different cases, or she's a part of 5 different cases and 2 different intakes. If we want to see more detail, we just click on that icon and it will show you the first or the 3 newest cases. Right here, we can go ahead and click on this one to see the intakes, and it's showing you 2. It will only show you up to 3. This one only has 2, so it's only showing us 2. If we want to see more, we can click on see more. It's going to go ahead and open up that like the card a little bit further so you can see more information in here. And if you wanted to, you could go ahead and view contact. It will open up the actual card. You can see even more detail in there. Let's see, is there anything else with the names that I want to show you right now? I think we're good on that. So where I'm going to go next is actually to over on the left panel here. We do have the option to browse cases. So this is another way that you can search for different cases within your database, within your Neos system. So you click on the little briefcase right there. It opens up the browse cases window here, and up at the top you see the different filters that you can select. So right here, this is a drop down where you can choose whether or not they are marked as your client. You can choose which staff members are assigned to the case. You can filter class codes, case types, case status, and more. If you ever, for whatever reason, are looking for a specific case and it's not on this list, but you notice that there is a clear filters button up here, and this is something I do really want to bring your attention to because it comes up very often. If you ever don't, like if you are ever looking for a specific case number, so let's say that I want to see 200070, and I know it's in the system, but it's not showing here. What I can do is I can go ahead and clear my filters, press apply, and then I can scroll down and, oh, there it is. I had some sort of criteria selected that wouldn't allow it to show up. So that is our browse cases. I'm gonna, do we have any questions as of right now before I move on to the browse documents? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move. Oh, do we have
So
one?
yeah, yeah. So
Sorry.
I have one question. Let's talk about when you're saying browse cases. They say, can you search by a client's name? So can you show them how to search by a client's name again?
Yeah. So if you wanted to search for the client's name, instead of looking in browse cases, I would actually suggest using the search bar up at the top. So let's say that, let's look for me. Okay. I know with the name AKA search, I can type in the last name first, comma, the first name. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in the first three letters of my last name, comma, first three letters of my first name, press enter, and I can see my name here. And I can go ahead and click on that. And here's the case that I'm a part of. So I can go ahead and click on there, and it will go ahead and open up that case for that specific client. There are I actually, after we look at browse documents, we're also going to look at our address book, where it would contain all of the different names in your database. So that may also be an option for you, and we'll get there in a few minutes. Um, all right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to browse documents now. So right here, this is going to show you all of the different documents that you have in your NEOS database. Over here, this is where you can go ahead and type in, the title of the document. So you can search through, like if we wanted to search for a demand, we can just type in demand, and it will go ahead and start automatically searching for you. And it's going to pull in only the things that appear like that have the name, the word demand in the title. Over here, you can also choose the document type. That's going to be what folder it's going to be stored in within the case folder. And you do have more options for other filters as well. On the left, you'll see different icons that will appear based off of what type of document that is uploaded. And then you just see all of the details of that document throughout the grid. One thing I do want to point out for you guys is if there is a column that you want to show in this grid that doesn't show right now, you can click on the three dots at the next to any of the column headers, go down to columns, and then find the column that you want to show. Go ahead and select it. It should then um, appear on, let's see, right there. And then if you wanted to remove it, you can go ahead and just deselect it and it's gone. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and clear my filters, and we are going into our address book next. So right here, this is going to show you the names of all of the contacts in your database. You can have it show you all of the contacts, or you can actually click on providers to have it filter to show you only the providers in your system. You'll know it's a provider because this over on the right, excuse me, there will be that provider sticker or icon, however you'd like to say it. And over to the right of that provider label, there are two different icons for each provider. It's just indicating whether or not that provider has notes on their provider card or if they have any documents in there as well. You can generate documents for providers from their provider card as well. We're not going to go into that today, but I just wanted to let you guys know that as well. Over on the left, I do want to let you guys know as well that there are different icons for the different kind of name in your system. A lot of these are little business buildings. That's letting you know it's a business or an entity. And then whenever you see this person icon, that's going to mean that they are an actual person, and not the business themselves. You can also upload your own pictures that will appear in there. Let's see. Lastly, on this address book, I want to show you guys how to apply your filters. So right next to the search, you can actually click on these 3 lines that look like a downward pointing arrow. And that's where you can go ahead and select your filters. You can choose whether or not they are an expert witness, put in a date, birth date range, and more. You click apply, and then it will apply the filters to the results, and it will only show you what actually, you know, would match whatever filter you put in there. So what I'm going to do now is we're actually going to go ahead and jump into creating an intake. Right next to the search bar up at the top, we do have the create drop-down button. In here, you can create a case, a contact, you can create new text messages, etc. But we're going to go ahead and click on intake. All right, so here we are. This is the creating a new intake screen in Neos. Up here, I do recommend that if you know what case type this intake is going to be, to go ahead and select that case type now. Within the case type settings, your admins will have an option to go ahead and select a primary staff to automatically fill in this section right here. So that, let's say that we know this is going to be an auto case. Sabina right here, she's the one who's going to be the intake primary staff, and it automatically fills in. Okay, so before we can actually save this intake, we need to go ahead and fill out some more information. If we look at the different fields, you'll be able to tell which fields are required fields because they will have a little red star next to that field. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing into this field. And let me move this out of my way. Excuse me. Let's see. And when you type in a party name, whenever you type in the last name, it's going to actually search your database for any records that match that name that you had typed in. This is a conflict check, just to make sure, that you're not creating duplicates, and it provides you information as to whatever names that we have that match the one that you typed in. So you can go ahead and select use this record or use this one. You can see more details if you want to make sure that this is the right person that you want to select. And if you were to choose that, you can click on use this record. It fills in the information for you. We could also clear the record, and it would clear the party information right there. Lastly, I wanted to point out with these different fields, one thing you might have noticed now is that there's parentheses, and a lot of them say party-1. What that is letting you know is that whatever information you put into the intake here is actually going to appear whenever you take this intake and turn it into a case. That information is going to show up in the case under the party tab for the first party. If you have party-2, that information will show up in the party tab for the second party. You also can see that there's parentheses with the word case in there, and this will definitely vary based off of how your admin has your intake layout set up. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of here, and we're going to, actually, let me open up an intake. Let's go with this one. I should have had one created beforehand. I do apologize. But what I'm going to show you really quickly in here, this is your intake once it's actually made. You can see the name of the intake up at the top and the status of the intake right now, the intake number and other information up in the header. And then you do have option to different tabs on the left. So right here, this is the activity feed. It's going to show you anything that was done within this intake while it's been open. This is the intake tab. It's just going to have general information. This is the documents and the notes. But I'm going to go back in here. And if you want to create a case from an intake, you're going to go up towards the header, over to the right. You're going to click on the 3 dots, and then you can change the case type here, you can archive the intake, you can delete the intake, and then you can also make it into a case. I'm not going to actually make this one into a case. I'm going to go ahead and open up one of the cases that we already have, and we will continue to look, we're going to continue our case tour in there. All right, so this is what a case will look like once it's been created in Neos. So again, it's very similar to the intake where you have the case name up in the top, you have the status right next to it, the case numbers up there, the case title. The information in the case header can vary based off of the case type that you have selected, and whatever your admin has configured. But if it does take up more than one line, you can click on this little arrow and it will collapse it for you to give you a little extra space on your screen. Below that, we do have a special note. This isn't going to show up until you add one to the case, and that's just going to be an option under Quick Add. If I were to go click on Quick Add right now, it's not going to show us that option just because there's already one here, but it is called special, I believe it's either special note or special case note, something along those lines, and it will be under the Quick Add option up here. So again, in a case, you do have the activity feed, just like you had it in the intake, where it will show you the different phases of the case across the top, and it will show you what has occurred in the case, but like down here. You can filter to a specific staff member. You can also click on other filters here to select the activity type, action type, or apply a date range, and that will kind of boil it down to exactly what you're looking for. This is the party tab, and this will show you the details for that specific party on this case. If you want it, like right here, you can see the name, you can see their unique names ID, their age, and then their age at the date of incident. You can depending on what permissions you do have, you can come in here, add information, you can edit the information, etc. And what I'm going to do really quickly is show you guys, like you can see up at the top right, this is one of 6 different parties on this case. So we're going to go ahead and click on the X to see a list of all of the different parties. In this view, we can click here and drag and rearrange. Oh, well, usually we can rearrange the order of the parties in here. And then once we see a party that we want to look at further, we can go ahead and double click them to open up their party card. You can also navigate between the different parties by clicking the arrows up here. This does house information like their addresses and their emails and their phone numbers. And in here, I'm going to go ahead and pull Lauren in again so we can show you guys a neat thing with the phone numbers.
Okay, so thank you, Raina. So anywhere where you see a phone number inside Neos, you can also text that phone number. So we're going to show you how to do it from the phone number section in the party, but you could also do it from search, for example. So when you find a mobile phone number that you would like to send a text to, you'd click that icon that Raina just clicked right over there. And you'll see that the contact is automatically added in because we are pulling this phone number from Miss Kenzie. So that cannot be changed because it's associated with her. Now in the phone field, that phone number that we selected is automatically in that drop down. Now, if she has other phone numbers, all of her other phone numbers will also be listed. But if there's a different mobile phone number that you'd like to select, you can just choose that appropriately. And in the post a case, this is also required so we know what case that we should associate with this message with. So the case that we're in right now happens to be the top one. So we're going to go ahead and select that. But you can see that Miss Kenzie is also a member in a few other cases. So if you just happen to be in this case and then you say, wait a minute, I don't want to post to this one, I want to post to a different one, you can do that from any view that you're on. So you don't have to reopen the case that you actually want to associate it with. And then in the next field, this is the body of your text message. This is required in order to send the text. But let's say, for example, there are usual phrases that you're always putting into text messages. You don't want to have to retype every single time. So that button on the bottom left, that is the quick fill mini directory. So these are pre-configured from your firm. And for example, if you chose appointment reminder, this information will kind of start off the message for you, and you can just enter in the additional information that you want to include. Now, I do want to bring your attention that the quick fill mini directory should not be confused with SMS templates. SMS templates are only used with Neos Pro and only with intake workflows. So those are not to be confused with that. The quick fill mini directory is available for your firm with whatever whatever Neos level you have, whether standard Neos or Neos Pro or Neos Premium. So just know that that is what the quick fill mini directory is. And then when Raina clicks send, a copy of this text message is also going to be saved inside this case's notes tab and also in the communications tab. And we'll take a look at the notes tab in a minute when we navigate over to there, but know that that copy of that sent text message is saved to the communications tab and in the notes tab, and you'll be able to view that sent message as a text communication. Now, remember that this is standard texting that's available in Neos. So if the recipient, if the person you're sending to, if they reply to your text message, it will be emailed to you with using your email from your staff profile. So when they reply, you'll see it in an email, and you can use the Outlook add-in to post their reply back into this case for a record. Now, if your firm uses premium texting, that is a paid feature, which will allow the recipient's replies to be automatically tagged back into Neos, alleviating you from having to do that extra step. Okay, back to you, Raina.
Thank you so much, Lauren. All right, so from here, we're going to go ahead and look at the case tab. I will point out in the notes tab once we get there the text that was sent out. But in this case tab, we do have our general case information. You have the date of incident or accident. You have the date that the case was opened. You can change the status of the case by adding in a closed date that would change this opened to closed. You could also change this to a dormant case by checking off the dormant checkbox here. And then the last status that I neglected to mention earlier is a in litigation status. And that would be whenever we get to the checklist tab, there's going to be a button for add an auxiliary checklist. And that's how you can, if that auxiliary checklist that you add to the case is marked as a litigation checklist, that's how the label will end up showing in litigation. I'm not going to change the status of this case. I'm just going to show you other fields here. So we have the synopsis. You do have the intake information right here as well. You can see the date and time that the intake was taken and by whom it was taken. You also do have the case dates down here for this case, and these can be used in so many different areas in Neos. If I had the time, I'd tell you them all now. You can see the staff members who are assigned to the case down here, the court information, and then you do also have a user-defined section where you can have the defendant caption and the plaintiff caption as well. Companion cases is another tab. I'm not going to go into this too much, but this is how you can relate this case to other cases within Neos. The checklist tab, we have a very in-depth Neos Academy from last month regarding the checklist tab, so I'm not going to go over it too much here, but this is the add auxiliary checklist button that I was talking about earlier. And if the auxiliary checklist that you add is a litigation one, that's how this will change to in litigation. You can mark your checklist item done by clicking right here. If you want to, you could also just enable the status column, and then you can change the status from there. One thing that is brand new, like not brand new, but fairly new to the checklist tab is this completed date and completed by, these two columns right here. So if I go ahead and let's say that I mark this one as done and we refresh our checklist, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and it should show us, so it moved all of the items that are done to the bottom. But you can see all the way to the right that I marked this one done today, just now. So that's something that was really nice, and I wanted to go ahead and show that to you. I'm going to go ahead. This is the case calendar here. This is going to be where all of the different, you know, calendar items will be shown, like listed here for this particular case, both past, or past, present, and future. If you want to add a new event, you can go ahead and click on the new event button in the top right, and it will allow you to create a new event for this case, and you can add like whichever staff members and more from there. So next up, we do have the Notes tab. In the Notes tab, you will find notes on, like, general case notes. You'll find the text messages, any emails that are tagged to the case will show up here. Phone calls and value notes as well will all be stored in here.
Okay, great. So one thing I do want to share with you also is you do have the ability to send an email, a blank email, or send an existing note as an email. So Raina, if you wouldn't mind mousing over to the general note, I believe it is that one right there. If Raina clicks that three dots button, you see we have additional options. So let's go ahead and click the email button. And what this does is this will allow Raina to email this note that exists in Neos out. So using the to field, and this is required, the list of contacts in this case that have an email address will be listed, and she can select one or multiple contacts. But let's say, for example, she wants to send this to someone else that doesn't exist in the case. She doesn't want to have to go ahead and add them actually as a party or as a provider. She just wants to send this maybe as an additional contact. So she can just start typing their contact information and click add custom value, and then that email will populate in there. Now the subject is going to default, because this is an existing note, is going to default to the first party name, the case number, and the note topic. And then the content of that existing note is automatically going to be shown. That's the note, when it was added, the time, by whom, and then she can play around with the formatting options if she chooses bold, underline, highlighting, etc. Now, down below, there is an attach documents option. So if you go ahead and click that, you'll see that these are all the documents that are associated with this case. So if you select a few, if you, Raina, want to select a few different ones here, perfect. And now you could just click the checkbox to select, and it will include, you'd click attach, and it would include those attachments into the email that you are going to send. Now, once you've added attachments, you also have attachment format options. So you can choose between PDF, which will convert all the attachments that you've listed there into a PDF. It'll be separate PDFs, or you can send the original. So just like you're seeing here, JPEG, PDF, or Word, it would send it in an email using that exact format. Or there's the option to send it as a link. Now, I do want you to take heed that when you send it as a link, it will send it as a link as it exists in your firm SharePoint. So it is the original file that exists in your firm SharePoint. So this is probably best reserved for someone inside your firm, just so you retain the integrity of that document. But if you do choose to send it to someone externally, just make sure that you check your SharePoint sharing settings for external users, because you don't want to send this and have the recipient tell you they can't access the file. So, and we do have a knowledge base article related to the link that will provide you that information. Now, you can go ahead and, well, we're not going to do this yet because I'm going to talk through it, but you can go ahead and immediately send this if you're ready. Everything looks great and you're ready to send it out. But we do have some additional options. So if you click the down arrow there, we're going to go ahead and look at schedule first. So you can choose to schedule this email to tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. or tomorrow afternoon at that time, or you can select custom time, and that will provide you an option to choose any date, any time that you'd like to send it. Now, keep in mind, before you click done, you can, or when you click done, you cannot make additional changes to that email. So just think to yourself, do I have to make any additional changes to this before I schedule? Because once you click done, you cannot go back. It's already been scheduled. You can't return. So if you do think you might have to make additional changes, just click the arrow next to the word schedule up at the top. Perfect. And that will take you right back to the message. Now let's click the down arrow again. There's another option called Open in Outlook. And when you select this, it will open the Outlook online in a new browser tab. And one of the great things about this is if there are additional attachments that you want to include that maybe don't necessarily need to be in the case, you can just attach the file and it will open in your computer's file browse. And so that is a really great feature. But one thing I do want you to keep in mind is that when you send an email using the Open in Outlook option, it will not automatically tag this sent email into Neos. So what you'll need to do is you'll make sure everything looks great. You'll click send, and then you'll have to go through to your Outlook sent folder and tag that send email back into Neos. So just something to keep in mind if you do choose this option. And then I think that is all. So we can go back to you, Raina.
All right. Thank you so much, Lauren. So that is how you can send an email from within the notes section. That's one of many ways that we can send emails in Neos. If you are curious about any of the other ways, please feel free to reach out to a trainer or to the support team, and we would love to help you guys out further. But yeah, just at the top, these are the different topics that you can choose, and it will sort through, like these are all value notes, these are all text messages, these are phone calls, etc. And this is all of the notes. Again, you can filter through right here, and you can add new notes by clicking the new up at the top right. I'm going to go ahead and quickly go through the next few tabs. Sorry. Insurance, this is going to be where you can add in the insurance information for the party or the defendant or for anybody on this case. You can choose what type of insurance, the insurer, adjuster, etc., and it will automatically pull in the role based off of which party member you are adding the insurance for. Once you have insurance information in the insurance tab, you can actually go to the negotiation tab, and you can see you can add negotiations for those insurances. So right here, there's already one for the Progressive insurance. There's one for the Geico one in there as well. It will automatically pull in who the adjuster is based off of what you have entered into the insurance tab. You can also add a negotiation for parties as well as for counsels. So if you have a counsel on the next tab here, then you can actually pull this information into the negotiation tab as well. This is just who is representing whom, and it automatically pulls in the roles here. You can also adjust the search/notice filing order to match what it is in court. Next up, we do have the police tab. This isn't used as often, so we're not going to go into that in this session. But the next one that I do want to show you guys is the documents tab. This is where all of your documents are going to be viewable from within Neos. You can see the different document types up at the top. Those are going to be the first level folders in the case folder. And then after document type, if you select a document category, that's going to be your next level folder. You can see the staff created and other information over towards the right. And then you can also see the different documents in here as well. If you wanted to change your view, you can go ahead and change it from list view to folder view. You can also search for the documents here. If you have, I believe it's is it premium? Neos Premium, if you want to go ahead and OCR the documents. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Pam.
PDF editor.
PDF editor. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. So if you have PDF editor, then you can go ahead and click this. It will OCR the documents, and you'll be able to search through the contents of the files as well. And then you do have other filters in here. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Okay, so the next few tabs that we have over on the left, you can see they're all the same icon now. This indicates that these are all user-defined tabs. These are going to change based off of your, like, how your admin sets up the different case types in your system. You can have up to 5 user-defined list tabs. A list tab is where you can enter in multiple instances of information. So sort of like the insurance is a list tab. So this is going to be a list tab as well. You can also have up to 5 different flat user-defined flat tabs. A flat tab is a tab where it's just information where you go in, fill in the text box or the field in there, and then the information is stored once you press save, and that's it. So those are going to be customizable for your firm by your firm administrator. If you have any more information on that, you can definitely reach out to training or reach out to support, and we would, again, love to help you guys out further. Last tab in the case, but most certainly not least, is the value tab. We aren't going to go into this one too deeply. However, this is going to be where all of your finances for that case, they're all going to be stored in here. If you need to add in a new item, you can go ahead and click the add button up here. We have access to different tools as well and different reports and things. You can also filter through to see specific items, and then you can also choose which party member you want to see the value items for. And I believe this is everything. Lauren, was there anything else that I may have jumped over or forgotten?
I think we're ready to move on to the self-service portal. So Raina, if you want to go back to the home tab in Neos, perfect. So I'm going to direct your attention over to the self-service portal. So if you hover over the question mark icon on the upper right hand of Neos, this is the help text there. But if you click that, you'll be automatically taken into the self-service portal. Now, if this is the first time you're logging into here in the current browser session, and when I say login, you're automatically logging in anyway, the What's New pane will fly out immediately, and we have already come into this, so that's why it's not flying out for us. So Raina, if you click the What's New tab, this information here is mostly centered around releases. So for example, we have our list, our change log up at the very top, sorry, and that change log is a running list of all the changes that we've made to Neos. Now, it might look a little bare bones when you're looking at it, but one of the great things about it is you can just do Control F to search for a change that was made to either documents or QuickBooks and be quickly associate, you can quickly scroll down and see all the changes related to what you're searching for. The other area that is in this What's New panel is also a little taste about each release that we just had. So the last one was in February, and it provides a little bit, like I said, a taste of not all the features, but some of the features that we pushed out, as well as a link to our website, which has much more detail about literally every single area of the release. And it also has short videos walking you through all of the individual components of the release. So definitely take a look at that if you have not. And if there are if there is new content added here, you'll see a blue circle to the left of the What's New tab, so you can know that there is something new for you to take a look at. And you can close this just by clicking the tab or just clicking out of there. Now I'm going to direct you straight on down to the service catalog, over to the knowledge base, because this is where a lot of the content that you're looking for will be. So if you click the knowledge base tab, Raina, and from the service catalog, this is going to open up a new window. So if you're not seeing it on the screen, I think, Raina, you just might have to bring it over to your current view.
Yeah, just give me one moment. I do apologize. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so in here, this contains the articles on all areas of utilizing Neos. So articles are broken down into categories. So you can see that within Neos, if you click that down caret, which Raina just did, that we are the areas in which you would locate things inside Neos is where you can find articles related to the content of what you're searching for. So for example, let's expand. We've already have it expanded. So checklist, for example, checklist is already expanded. And so you can see the number of articles associated with checklists. But if you drill down even further, you can see that there are different numbers of articles associated with each of the different areas. So let's say, Raina, if you wouldn't mind clicking out of here, and we'll close that up just so we get the purest form. And we're going to go into category search up at the top. Now, I'm sorry, not category, it's a keyword search, but it's also an KB article number search, which I will show you in just a moment. So let's say you type in primary. Perfect. And you'll see before she clicks enter, there are some suggested articles that she could click, and you can take a look at those articles. But let's say you just click enter, Raina, on there, and now the 700 something articles now decreases down further, which is much more easily able to find what you're looking for. And let's say you do want primary checklists, we can kind of scroll down here and see that there are only a few articles related to primary checklists, and she can expand and see the list of those articles. Now in the middle pane, like I said, this is the list of all the articles that happen to be related to primary, because we also search for primary. Now, the order in which these articles are listed depends on what you select in this dropdown here. So we recommend you have it set to last updated, just because content is always changing in the knowledge base. So we make sure that you have the most up-to-date information. And by setting this to last updated, you'll make sure that the most recently updated articles will be listed first. Another option is to choose, if you click that drop down, Raina, the other option is most viewed, and this can be really helpful. So let's say, for example, we X out where we have the search at the very top, Raina, and we just clear that search altogether. Perfect. And we set that to most viewed. You'll see that like some of these articles that are listed are heavily viewed articles, and you'll be able to kind of navigate, and these might contain the answers that you're looking for. Now, the most viewed articles can also be found in the self-service portal in the FAQ section as well. So you can take a look at those without having to navigate through to the knowledge base if that's quicker for you. Now, one other thing I did want to share with you about is how to access the article number. So we're going to go back to the search. One more time. We're going to go back to search really quickly, and I want to bring your attention to this one particular article. Perfect. And so Raina is typing training. So this is the NEOS training requests article, where you can request training from all areas of NEOS. We have administrative tasks, reporting, dashboards, Intake Pro, QuickBooks, or just a topic of your own choice. And so this information here allows you to request training for your firm. Now, let's say this is an article that you think you really might need to keep handy often. And rather than searching for training every time and looking through the articles, in this case, there's only a few, but in other cases, there could be many articles related to, for example, documents. So to locate the article number, you would click the print icon on the upper right there. Perfect. And then in the URL up at the top, you're going to see article ID, and Raina's going to highlight that for you. And next to article ID is the equals sign, and you'll see likely it's either a 3 or a 4-digit number. And that number is the article ID. So you can jot that down for yourself and just keep that handy. This way you can reference it whenever you need to find the most recent information for an article that you're likely going to navigate to often. And again, you can print this article, of course, but we just want to make sure that you always have the most recent information. We'd hate for you to have to reference an old article that has been updated a few times since you have printed it or saved it to your desktop. Okay, and that is how to locate the article number. It's really helpful. I hope you utilize that. So let's go ahead and close this window, Raina, and we're going to go back to the service catalog. I'm going to bring your attention to a few other areas in here. The first one is ideas and enhancements. If you have a suggestion for making NEOS even better, we have a KB article on that, you know we do. And so you can search for existing ideas that other people from other firms have also added in, or if you're not seeing an idea, just go ahead and add a new one. And this way it's stored in our database and we review these timely so that we can make sure that we're putting the most valuable content into Neos. The next area that I want to bring your attention to is Neos University. If you want to go ahead and click that, Raina, this allows your firms to really there's 2 different courses where you get to get a full knowledge of Neos from start to finish. We have 2 courses. One is for beginner, one is for administrator. You can take these courses on your own time. Your course progress is automatically saved, so you don't have to worry about a separate login or anything. And once you complete the course, you'll be provided a Credly badge that you can apply to your social media, and you will be a professional Neos user, or you'll be certified as well. So these are really great courses. I hope you can take the time to look into them. All right, so let's close this tab, and perfect, and we will go back to here. The next thing I want to bring your attention to is the Learning Hub. This is wonderful for all my video, audio, visual learners. This is chock full of content across all areas of Neos. It also contains on-demand webinars that we have put on. All of our Neos Academy sessions are loaded in the Learning Hub as well. And as well as with each release, we also have a new in Neos that we put on that kind of really walks you through in a video content from the release from start to finish. So you really make sure that you have all the information at hand. So the Learning Hub is a wonderful resource. It's always available to anyone at your firm. And then last but not least is Get Support. So if you go ahead and click Get Support, now let's say you've exhausted all these resources and you're just not getting the answer you're looking for. We'll click Get Support here, and you will enter in all these fields except for attachments are required. So you'll enter in all your company information, your contact information. Now in subject, if you start typing documents, for example, we are going to suggest some articles related to what you've just typed. But let's say that's not exactly what you're looking for. You're actually looking for document link. So you're going to continue typing link. You'll see that the article suggestions change based on what you type. So perhaps document record linking might be what you're looking for. You can click that and it'll open up the knowledge base in that separate window like it did before, and you can browse through it. And hopefully that will alleviate you from having to submit a ticket and get an answer. But of course, if that is not the answer you're looking for and you're just not finding it, you can close that and continue along with the ticket, entering in the description of your issue. Of course, if you have attachments that you can include, that will help us navigate to the issue faster and figure it out quicker for you. You click submit, and one of our support technicians would be happy to help you out. And that is the end of my session. Do you have anything else to include, Raina?
I do.
Lauren, before you move on.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of people. Can you go back over and start from Neos and show them how to get back to the support portal and then go into the knowledge base again?
Perfect. Yes, we sure can. Okay, so you are within Neos. You're going to scroll over to the far right where you see that question mark with a circle around it. You're going to click that. And then once you click it, you're automatically authenticated. You're kind of like logged in to the self-service portal. And in order to access the knowledge base, you would scroll down and you can click that knowledge base icon in the service catalog. There is also another quick and easy way to access the knowledge base. If you close that and you scroll up just a little bit right now. Perfect. You can also access it either from one of the frequently asked questions, which are article links. You can also access it that way, which will open that exact article. But of course, you'll have access to the full knowledge base, or you can click show all, which will also open the knowledge base. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we have no pending questions. Everybody's questions got answered during the webinar.
Way to go, Pam.
Woohoo!
All right.
We work as an awesome team, ladies.
I love working with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and share, the final slide one more time, and I guess that'll be it for today's session. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody who has come and attended. We really appreciate you guys taking your time to come listen to us and for us to share our knowledge with you guys. If there's anybody who's interested in reminders for upcoming NEOS Academy sessions, I believe we send one out in an email after this one. Thank you guys.
Yes.
And just as a reminder as well, these do get recorded, and then we do send a copy of the recording to you guys in your email. So please keep an eye out for that. And I thank you again for all of your time and everything.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks. Bye. Have a wonderful day.